What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me? This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's going on, friends and family? It is Monday, April 28th, 2025. Year of our Lord. We got a full show that's lined up for you guys today, and so we're going to be covering a lot of subjects. So on the docket today, before I get into a little bit of housekeeping, we're going to talk about Shannon Sharpe first, and then that's going to take us into TD Jakes. We got to give y'all a little bit of an update on TD Jakes. The migrant raids over in Colorado netted over 100 migrants, illegals, and an underground party, nevertheless, with drugs and guns and all of that stuff. Canadian elections are this week. Trump is controlling the world, according to the Atlantic. And Dr. Oz on Medicare and Medicaid fraud. The DOGE team is going to start tackling everything with regard to that because there's billions and billions of dollars of fraud, according to what he's saying. Florida condo owners are having unsellable homes. And then also we got to talk about student loans. So we have a full show for you guys today. I will try to get through all of these subjects, making sure that I give commentary and add value. So that is that. Also, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Posted on the Patreon today. I need everybody that is a bag chaser, everybody that is a part of the Patreon, make sure you go and you respond to that. I need to know. It is going to inform me on how I can make some adjustments. Also, posted in the Patreon on the meetup. So you have ample time. If you are not in DC, you have ample time to find out and get all of your information, get all of your stuff together, get your hotel rooms if that's what you decide to do. If you want to fly in and come and kick it with me in real life, all right? There is no cover as far as I know right now, but I'll keep you guys up to date. There is no cover, but I definitely want to see as many people as possible. And if you are a bag chaser, if you are a Patreon member, that link is in the description as well as in the details. I am looking forward to seeing you guys in person. So we got our first official meetup this year. It is official. It will be on a rooftop in the summertime, and it is going to be awesome. There has never been a Patreon meetup event that has not been awesome, so I'm looking forward to seeing you. Ladies, I need y'all to show up and show out. Only good energy. No dusties. We're not doing no dusties. So I need y'all to go into the Patreon. There is a new post. There is a new post today. There will be a new post tomorrow. And then there will be a live stream on Wednesday. So we got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work that we putting in this week on the Patreon. So I'm looking forward to having those conversations with you guys. Also, I am starting new coaching calls again. Let me go ahead and give myself a round of applause. All right, had to make sure that I got my taxes together, that I got things taken care of. three three letters that I don't mess with. The I, the R, and the S. I don't care who president. I don't mess around with the I, the R, the S gang. So I had to make sure that we got all of those numbers together. We're sitting with our tax strategists and our tax accountants. So yeah, man. So yep, we got coaching calls coming up soon. If you are interested, we are not doing half hours anymore. All right, we only doing 1 hour. You got to get the whole shebang. I found that in the past that people that when you do a half hour, when you just really starting to get into the call, a lot of times that's when you got to have a cutoff because you got to get the foundation of what people are there for in the beginning. So we only doing an hour, so we're going to ramp up slowly. If you are interested in doing a coaching call, all right, if you're not ready, if you don't want this reality check, if you're not ready to get your finances together, if you're not ready to get your relationships in order, everything, just anything life related that you think that you need value or you need another set of eyes on, you can reach out to me on my email. Y'all moderators, can you please put my email inside of the chat? Or you can just go to my website, antondaniels.com, and fill out the form. And then my people will make sure that they get back to you. All right. So be patient. Please be patient. Please be patient. Don't be pushy. Be patient. All right. So that's going on. And then if you're not rocking out with a group of people that's that's rocking out with you, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I got a new vlog that's dropping almost every single day on the Darth Anton channel. Again, we had to focus on taxes and get some things together. The three things that we don't mess with is the IRS. So if you're saying, oh, Anton, you haven't been posting as much as more, you haven't been on TikTok, you haven't been on Instagram as much. Well, we haven't missed when it came to the YouTube channel, but we definitely want to make sure that we now getting things ramped up now that we got our numbers and everything is together and had to minimize the amount that we paying on taxes. All right, y'all ready to get it popping? Shout out to all of the moderators. I want to give y'all a round of applause. Also, Crown, Quentin, all of my people is in the building. Again, if you guys are looking to tap in with a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in, if you're looking to rock out with the Patreon members, that is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right? Got the housekeeping out of the way. Y'all ready to get started with the show? We got a lot to cover today. We got 8 subjects. 8 subjects that we got to cover today. So, all right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to acknowledge the people that support the platform. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my dog, Mike That Dude. Thank you on Cash App, Mike That Dude, and my guy, Spencer Campbell. Shout out to Spencer Campbell, says, good morning, AD, and Mike That Dude is always consistent. Thank y'all for holding me down. I also want to acknowledge a couple of super chats that's in the building. Quentin is in the building, says, no, if you're going, no going if you're going to be there. Not going if you're going to be. What is Quentin trying to say here, guys? Quentin will be there. I think Slimmy is going to be there. Mika definitely going to be there. I need to talk to Molly and Carrie. I don't know about them, but the people is definitely going to be there. We might have a couple Wagoneers there. You know what I'm saying? And then I might even bring a friend or two. So shout out to Quentin. Don the Architect says, good morning. Signing up for Coach Call today. Blessings, sir. Shout out to Don the Architect. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for holding me down. And thank you to everybody that supports the platform. All right. Got a good night's rest last night. Worked all this weekend. And I'm looking forward to running it up. All right, y'all. First things first. Young Gladiator says, let me go ahead and get my being in on that coaching. All right, cool. I'm with it. All right, y'all. First things first. Shannon Sharpe. Life has been beating the crap out of Shannon Sharpe lately. I did a video yesterday. I think the first person to notice it, I'm pretty sure that it's a lot of people that's copycatting at this point. But I did a video yesterday of Shannon Sharpe, and I pointed out some things. But before I point out some things, I want to go over into this video. And so Stephen A has recently done an updated video. He did an initial video of what he thought was going on with Shannon Sharpe. And now he's doing a video talking about Shannon Sharpe stepping away from ESPN. So I want to play a little bit of that. I haven't watched it. I want to just scan through that and see what he got to say. And then I'm going to point out a couple of things that you guys need to see. Let's get into it.
Let's get to the latest news, and it's involving Mr. Shannon Sharpe, who announced yesterday that he would be stepping away from ESPN and ESPN's First Take, my daytime job, at least until the NFL preseason sometime later on this summer. As you may recall, a lawsuit was filed against Shannon on Sunday by a woman using the name Jane Doe, or using a Jane Doe pseudonym.
Didn't Shannon Sharpe point out who this woman was? In his initial statement, he actually said her name.
A civil complaint filed in Nevada alleged that Shannon Sharpe committed assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. Shannon and his attorneys responded with evidence of the relationship being, quote unquote, consensual. And Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, responded by releasing audio of an alleged conversation between his client and Shannon. For those that don't know, Tony Busby is the same attorney that filed the lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy.
Is that legal? Is that legal? Is it legal because I was under the impression that you cannot release a recorded conversation and or pictures and video of somebody without their consent. He did, Messi. He did. He gave her government and her ORF name. Is that legal for somebody to release that type of information to the public? If you bust it down for a real one and y'all share some private information or whatever, so on and so forth, I didn't know that you can actually release that type of information unless somebody gave their consent to do it. Depends on the state that you in. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy.
They both sexually assaulted a minor, which has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z has now countersued Busby. Needless to say, the headlines this week took on a life of their own, and as a result, Shannon announced he was stepping away from ESPN. Here's a portion of Shannon's statement that he posted on social media. Quote, "I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues," end quote. It's been a difficult week from a sports media perspective, certainly as it pertains to
It's been one of the biggest weeks for sports
Take.
media.
Shannon Sharpe became a friend. When I recruited him to come on board on ESPN's First Take, he came on board and he did a sensational job. No matter the amount of success that we enjoyed for the 12 years prior to his arrival, he helped take it to another level last year. And we were doing our thing this year as well. And so when the news came down that he and ESPN had mutually agreed that he would need to come off the airwaves of ESPN, it was a blow to the show, a blow to me personally, because I'm going to miss him. But it was not a surprise. When I was on the air just a few days ago, a lot of people were looking for me to say something. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to speak to one's innocence or one's guilt about something I have absolutely positively no knowledge of whatsoever. Do I believe that Shannon Sharpe is guilty of what he has been accused of? Absolutely not. That is my personal opinion. The brother that I've come to know, I don't believe would assault or rape anybody. And I'm going to state that emphatically.
So essentially, Stephen A. Smith came in and he gave his opinion about Shannon Sharpe stepping down. He stated the obvious, a lot of what we already know. And, I've been reporting on it every day, so I've been giving you guys an update on how things have been playing out when it comes to Shannon Sharpe and this whole thing. But as I pointed out yesterday, I was looking at, a lot of the live streams, and I think that a lot of people are curious. Some people were like, man, look at all of the people that was jumped in for the live stream. for Shannon's initial live stream once he got accused of the accusations and he came back, right? And it was a lot of people. It was like 35,000 people in there. And I suspect that it was a lot of people that was in there that was also trying to figure out whether or not he was going to say something, make a statement, talk about it, anything outside of what he released on X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Instagram and other platforms, right? But
Hello, it's your
I was
favorite.
pointing some things out, as you can see. You know, he does the usual, hey, make sure you subscribed or Ocho is going to cry and all of that. And if you start to look at this live stream or you start to look at this video in which they had Gary Payton on and stuff like that, right? And you go through and you look at it and you pay attention to him and Chad Ochocinco and stuff like that. And the other day he had Antoine Walker on there and all of that. And of course, if you're only looking at it from a sports perspective, then cool, it looks awesome. But I was looking at it a little bit differently. As I scrubbed through and I was looking at everything that was happening with the platform, and you look at Chad Ochocinco and you look at Shannon Sharpe and all of that, you can see that there are some things that need to be pointed out. Number one, Shannon Sharpe no longer has the sponsor by Boost Mobile under his nightcap thing. As you can also see, Chad Ochocinco, he turned his light off on nightcap and he covered the Boost Mobile logo up with a jersey. And if you look in the upper right-hand corner where Shannon Sharpe usually have DraftKings upper in the right-hand corner, that is no longer there. It's a little silhouette that goes in the upper right-hand corner. And so I have been paying attention to this. I was looking at nightcap and some clips while I was in a grocery store in Kroger's, and I was looking at it and I said, man, it's a lot different. It's a lot of things happening here. And so once I pointed it out, then you started to see people start to talk about it right after that and all of that other type of stuff, right? But my point is that no sponsors, no none of that. Just back to the grind, back to the hustle, back to the mud, right? Getting it out the mud, getting it on your own. Still got to do the show, still got to hustle. And I also noticed on a couple of shows that he seemed to be down. He seemed to be down. His disposition and his demeanor, because y'all got to realize that these people are still human. So regardless of whether we think that they're guilty or they're innocent, because it hasn't been proven in a court of law, and you got to remember that this is only a civil suit. This is not a criminal complaint, which is bothersome to me also, because I think our justice system really needs to be revamped to where how can a person make an accusation against you to take money from you, but they don't actually have a criminal complaint? Why would you file a civil complaint, and why are you first contacting an attorney to get a lawsuit popping before you actually get the criminal complaint? Like if you were somebody that were abused, or you were somebody that was hurt, you would think that somebody, because this is not like it's the statute of limitations. You don't got to go back 30 years, right? You have phone conversations. You got all of this evidence and stuff. Why aren't people filing criminal complaints because they would like to really see justice, but instead they're more focused on getting rich? Robert Dalton says he doesn't feel bad for the rich and powerful at all. Is it because they have money? So you think that a person that rightfully earned the amount of money that they earned deserved to have it taken away, and that our law shouldn't be revamped? Well, you know, the reason why this is such an important thing, and I'm standing on business, is not because it's hypocritical, because we see women regularly, and they are championed for talking to younger men. They are championed by other women. The same women that sit here and say, I can't believe it, he should have listened to Monique, he should have talked to a woman that was his age, are the same ones that are championing Tracy Ellis Ross, the same ones that are pushing forward with Drea, the same ones that are pushing forward with Aisha Howard, the same ones that are talking about and championing women that get with younger men. You know, I seen an interview with the lady that was on Baby Boy. You know, the mother that was on Baby Boy. She did an interview with Vlad, and she was talking about getting tag teamed by two men on her birthday that was much younger than her, and that was stallions. And nobody blinked an eye. They said, live your best life, girl. Live your best life, girl. Nobody blinked an eye. So what that tells me is that the gender war is roaring strong, and people are cheering on the downfall of somebody, the very ones that was celebrating him during the Cat Williams interview and was saying that how great the Damon Wayans interview was are the same people that are now calling for his downfall. I am not going to call for his downfall. I do not agree, and I have been on record for a long time saying that I don't think that guys that are of a certain age should talk to women that are of a certain age. And everybody was against me. And all of these people was saying that, no, but they legal. Well, what is the age of consent and all of this stuff? So, okay. Since we established that, I said, all right, well, we're going to play by you guys' rules. And we're going to talk about the age of consent. The women agreed that they want to talk to younger men. The men agreed that they want to talk to younger women. Everybody want to be sugar daddies. Everybody want to be sugar mamas. You a simp. You a trick. You getting caught up in these streets. Cool. I don't agree with it, but we going to play by your rules. Now I'm wrong and I'm off because I'm saying that the same rules that you guys agreed that we'd all play by, you're saying they're no longer acceptable and he deserves to be fleeced because she was 30 years his junior. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't agree with a lot of things Shannon Sharpe do. I don't agree with Shannon Sharpe throwing Candace Owens under the bus in front of the crazy lady. I don't agree at all. I don't agree with Shannon Sharpe's take on a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to advocate for him to be civilly prosecuted to where his resources are taken for somebody just because y'all don't necessarily agree with his lifestyle. Then you advocate for him to lose his money. It's crazy. 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 I don't agree. I don't agree. And if we are going down this path, the only thing that I'm asking from people is for y'all to be consistent. Because you know, and I already predicted this, that everything when it comes to these false accusations are going to trickle down onto you. With the way that society is going today and how desperate the majority of people are becoming, you don't think that you are now at some point going to become a target, big dog? You think that just because you dusty and you broke, that they not going to accuse you in order to come up? You think you safe? Men have been being accused for a long time now. This ain't nothing new. You think you safe? You think you safe because he's rich and powerful. What, you think that you're gonna be broke forever? A man's greatest earning potential is around the age of Shannon Sharpe. It's in his late 50s, early 60s. That's the honest to God truth. You don't think that the things that you doing today because you in the streets is gonna come back to bite you when you older? Let me ask y'all a question. And this is a question that I'm going to pose on Tuesday. So for all of my Tuesday night people that like to watch the show and all of that, let me ask y'all a question. What is the proper age gap? I just want definitive statements. I want to know exactly what the proper age gap is per decade. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. We might as well throw 80 in there while we at it. What is the I just want to know. I'm not interested in young girls, so this is not a problem for me, and I think that this is a conversation that I can have because I don't ever have to worry about it. What is the proper age gap? I've always said that there's nothing that a 20-year-old could ever have a conversation with me about. You 30-year-old, I'll be looking at you like, baby, you ain't even lived life long enough. Ain't nothing I could talk to you about. You ain't even got no seasoning yet. You just a bust down still. You still trying to heal from your trauma. What's the proper age? What's the proper age gap? No more than 7 years. So that's regardless. So if a person is 60, then that means they shouldn't be talking to anybody less than 53, right? See, you see how divided we are? Some people are saying whatever the age of two consenting adults agree on. Other people are saying it's your age minus 10 or something like that. Is that applicable to somebody that's 30? So if you're 30, can you talk to somebody that's 20? Because she's not able to drink yet. What age is a consenting adult? Some people saying that a woman's frontal lobe is not fully developed until she's 24, 25, 26 years old. Then does that mean that they shouldn't be having sex at all? That means that we need to put chastity belts on y'all in college. If you can't consent at 20, regardless of the age of the person that you're consenting with that's older than you, then that means that you shouldn't be busting it down for a real one at college then, right? I'm just asking the questions. But I do know one thing for sure, and two things is for certain. Shannon Sharpe looked drained. He looked absolutely beat the hell to death. He looked like life is kicking his butt right now, and he's trying to hold a strong face, and he's trying to hold it together, and I hope it's not taking a toll on his health. But yeah, man, I don't want to see anybody lose their stuff if they haven't done anything illegal. Real talk. Oh, Stella got her groove back. They had a whole movie about that. Nobody tripped about it. Stella. Should we ban Stella got her groove back? Should we ban the person that made that movie? Stella. Tay Diggs was on there messing with, who was it? Was it Angela Bassett? Oh, honey, I'm twice your age, honey. I could be your mama. Yeah, but age isn't nothing but a number. Say Stella. Nobody tripped. All of the women said, yeah, girl, Stella got her groove back. Everybody was with it. Everybody was with Stella got her groove back. And now don't nobody want to say nothing. Y'all don't remember that? Don't worry about it. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Again, Uncle Shay, I hope everything work out for you, big dog. Um Y'all said Diggs isn't that much younger than Angela Bassett. Family, it was a acted movie. He wasn't portraying his real age. He was just portraying a young, impressionable man that was broke and didn't have no resources, but was getting involved with an older woman that knew better and could manipulate him, and was controlling his whole situation. You don't remember the premise of the movie? That's cool. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's go ahead and get into the show. Before that, let me read a couple of super chats. I always like to read the super chats. It's not required, but it's something that I do like to acknowledge because the people always support the platform. OJ Thomas says, good morning. Good morning, OJ in the building. Would you ever make an NBA sports channel? I would like to. I just don't have the capacity. I genuinely would love to. I would love to. I just don't have the time. It's 1,000 things that I want to do and 1,000 ideas that I have. I just don't have the time to do it. The Riddler says, I am a little confused. What's the major issue here? Is Shay now a predator because he enjoys young women? If a female 20 years old are mature, men are not allowed to have relationships with them. Clarity, please. Ask it from the chat because I don't know what the clarity is. They kicked my butt when I said that you shouldn't talk to younger girls. Shout out to my girl Messy says, hit the like button if you showered today. You know what I'm saying? Wyatt B says, share and Madonna don't get kicked back. Oh, Cher is talking to a guy. I forgot about that. Hold on one second. Let me look at this. Let me just look at this. Cher boyfriend. Alexander Edwards. Cher is 78, and Alexander Edwards, who they call AE, is 38 years old. There's a 40-year age gap. Let me say that again for the people in the back. There's a 40 a 40-year age gap. So again, I'm trying to understand what is the proper age gap and how do we then make this make sense? 40. 40-year age gap. Cher is almost 80. Do you believe in love after love? So if the guy was 19, Chrissy Love, it would be different. If he was 19, if he was a 20-year-old guy, then it would be different, right? Drea is like 38, 40 years old, and Jalen Green is 21, 22. Nobody tripped. And she got pregnant. And she got pregnant. And she got a kid. Y'all all hypocritical anyway. Let me read a couple of more of these super chats. Cher and Madonna don't get kicked back either, says Wyatt. Big One M Dub says Mick Jagger is 81 and has a 31-year-old. Bill Belichick 24. Throw in Leonardo DiCaprio in there too while we at it. And Al Pacino. Al Pacino just got finessed by a woman. Bunny 305 Love says women complain when an old man is with a very young woman, when it's in reverse, Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher, everyone is okay with it. Yeah, don't worry about it. They listen. It's okay for women. It's never okay for men. Tracy Ross says she like them young too. I know. I did a whole review video on her. Tracy Ellis Ross said that she like them tender. Rand Wilson says thoughts on Belichick and his 23-year-old girlfriend. You want me to be honest with you? I don't care. I genuinely don't care if Bill Belichick get finessed. Then he get finessed. I don't believe that Bill Belichick should ever get a lawsuit placed against him. So I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's very, very weird to me. Misandry at its finest. Men don't care, says Molly. If Shannon was busting a 19-year-old boy cheeks, it would be a problem. It's a gender double standard. That look crazy. Maintenance guy saying Anton losing his way. How am I losing my way? Please explain how I'm losing my way. Oh, I know what else I wanted to tell y'all about. This weekend at Salt Plus KO. I'm not sure how to say it properly. It's Salt Plus KO in Southfield, Michigan. I will be doing a live /show/ recording. I think it's going to be a recording. I'm not sure exactly what it is, and I'll get the flyer for you guys soon. But I will be doing a live on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern in person. So if you want to come and kick it with me in person in Metro Detroit and Southfield, Michigan at Salt Plus KO, I'm going to be kicking it with my people over there at Chicago Red with Danny C. So me and Danny C. Danny C says she wanted to come and see me in Detroit. And we're going to be doing a live thing at Salt Plus KO. I will find out more details with you guys. And we're going to be kicking it in person at Salt Plus KO on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern in Southfield, Michigan. All right. So if anybody is in the Michigan area, anybody in Metro Detroit, and you want to come and kick it and you want to observe in person, you are more than welcome to come and do so. It is at Salt Plus KO in Southfield, Michigan. And it should be a hell of a time. All right. I forgot about that. That was a part of the I need to start writing this stuff down so I can get on there. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turn on your notifications if you are a part of the Patreon or you want to be a part of a group of people that want to grow in the direction that you want to go in. Go into the Patreon. I just posted something this morning. I need you to respond to that. Respond to the Patreon, all right? All right, let's get to it. Thank you to also Crazy P says 50 plus being attracted to a teen is nasty work. Agreed. I don't understand it, but shout out to y'all. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and continue on with the show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. I want to go into TD Jakes. TD Jakes says that he's stepping down from the Potter's house That's what TPH is. It's the Potter's House. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's find out what's happening with TD.
Developing story that we're following now. Bishop Tiege Jakes, the leader of Dallas megachurch, the Potter's House, announced today that he will be stepping down. Jakes is a world-renowned pastor. Remember, he suffered a heart attack in front of his congregation last November. Well, this morning, Jakes said that his daughter and son-in-law will now take the lead. Fox 4 Stephen Dial is in studio tonight with more. Stephen, welcome.
This was a shock to many in the religious community. Bishop Tiege Jakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands. Now he says it's time to pass the baton to a new generation.
This is a beautiful moment for me.
From the pulpit Sunday, Bishop Tiege Jakes announced that he was stepping down from leadership at the Potter's House, the Dallas megachurch he founded in 1996 and has led ever since.
I cannot afford, especially after November, to risk something happening to me and you be sheep without a shepherd.
This is video from the service Jakes is referencing in November. It wasn't until months after his medical incident that he confirmed to the public he had a heart attack. Now, 5 months later, he told his congregation he had been preparing his daughter, Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, and his son-in-law, Pastor Touré Roberts, to take the lead.
I talked to the board because I was concerned. I have seen too many men build something and stay so long that they kill what they build.
His daughter and son-in-law moved to Dallas during the pandemic and have increased their roles in the church operations over the years.
And I know you guys are so tired. You had a heart attack on stage and still asked for the microphone so that they would be okay over you. I know what this cost.
All right, let me before I give my thoughts, I want to switch over. And I want to go over to the actual live stream and see if I can make anything of it. And then we're going to go from there, all right? Let me show you exactly what he said.
You all know for years I have been talking about it. It may not work out the way I plan it, but I get on my knees and pray, and I plan my life in decades. How many of you remember me saying that? Not days, but decades. Because major moves take time.
Let me speed this up.
It may look like it was suddenly, but you don't know what the background work was. About 6 years ago, I started talking to Pastor Touré and Pastor Sarah because I did not want all that I had spent my life and your life and our lives building to get old and go with us. This is a generational. And even though she was busy doing Woman Evolved and he was busy pastoring One LA, about 4 years ago, they moved out here just in time for COVID. God has a sense of humor. He throws you in the water and then says swim.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Listen, I know that this is a long drawn out thing. I have been a part of the church. I grew up in the church, and so I know how this happens. I know the piano and the organ, and I know the and then I also know that, you know, shout service come right after that. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I've been through it. First, let me start off by saying this. I don't like for anybody to suffer health problems, okay? So I am not a advocate for anybody suffering. Call me getting older, call me getting wiser, call me getting more mature. I'm always going to speak life into people and life into things. Do I think that TD Jakes is a bad person? No, I do not. I don't. With unfounded and unsubstantiated claims by people that automatically assumed and wanted to tie him in a ditty, I'm not going to do that without evidence, and I'm not going to do that without anybody trying to prosecute him. So as long as I haven't seen anything that he has done illegal, then I am not going to automatically convict him in a court of public opinion and say that he should be suffering. I'm not that type of person. I'm not an advocate for that. I try to be objective. With that being said, I think that the church is a business today. I absolutely think that the church is a business. I think that his daughter is doing a great and phenomenal job of branding herself to be able to take over the family business, which is the church. 100%. I seen Jamal Bryant on somebody's podcast trying to compare the black church to the white church and saying that nobody ever criticizes the white church about how much they monetize their people, and so nobody should be criticizing the black church. I think that the Catholic Church has done a phenomenal job of making a business-like decision of monetizing what they've done. I think that the white church, most of them, not all of them, large white churches have done a phenomenal job monetizing the people. And I think that the black church, similar to what I see from TD Jakes, and this is just my personal opinion, this is not any criticism towards whether or not he is a good or a bad person. I think that the black church definitely has monetized the people. Absolutely 100%. How do you know this, Anton? Well, number one, I don't believe, let's just take this since TD Jakes is the one that's saying that he's stepping down. I do not believe that you can be ordained from another person. I believe that God gives you pastors and preachers after his own art. So it's very difficult for me to fathom the idea of passing a church down to your children like you're passing down a business, like you're passing down real estate, like you're grooming somebody for leadership. I didn't even know that you can do that. I thought that that was supposed to be something that was automatically ordained by God. I've seen, for example, Sarah Jakes Roberts on tour. Not seen her in person, but I've seen her tour come through Detroit. I've just recently seen a bunch of women that I know personally decide that they wanted to go and attend Sarah Jakes Roberts, whatever one woman tour, whatever it is. And they said that it was almost all women, right? And I'm not criticizing it because she's not doing anything illegal, but I'm just telling you what the state of the black church and of churches inside of the United States of America. It is a business. It is not, in my opinion, there to save souls. Now, I'm speaking with a limited amount of information because I didn't attend, but from what I heard from several people that attended, they told me that it was all women, and then the only few men that were dotted here and there were the men that got coerced into being taken there by their wives. The state of society, in my opinion, is based off of whatever it is that the men are doing. So you can never have a strong society that is not dominated by and controlled, and then more importantly, groomed for leadership based off of men. I'm just standing on it. I just do not believe. I personally don't believe in my big old age, as I've grown to understand the word of God, and that I've actually went to the churches and I've seen how things are and I see the transition of the churches and all of that. I personally do not believe that we should have women that is leading congregations in the pulpit. That's just my personal belief. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I just think it is a massive, massive mistake, the feminization of the church. And I know that TD Jakes loves his daughter. And I know that he's been y'all's spiritual leader for an extended period of time. But the reality is this: I just don't understand it because I didn't think that that's what the word of God says. I just don't get it. The inherent nature of us. A woman's true power is in her femininity. She was literally groomed and built to be a help meet. And I know that all of the feminists and the women is going to be upset about that. And I know that, oh man, you're going to get bothered by it and all of that stuff. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And so when I don't even respect the man that sent his wife to answer the door if I'm asking him or I'm having a conversation about what it is that we need to be doing as far as helping him in his household. If you tell me, let me check with my wife first, it just do something to me. And I just be like, Like you didn't say, you know what, let me think about it and get back to you and then seek insight and information from other people around you like your wife. You didn't say that. You said, let me check with my wife. But when I see guys that say, let me get permission from my wife, it just do something to me. It just put me in this mindset. I'll be like, what? Look at this. It's all a show. It's all a show. It's all a spectacle to me. It's all a show and it's all a spectacle to me. Now, listen, if the people in the congregation believe that they are getting value from this whole thing, then who am I to tell them that they shouldn't? I'm not telling anybody that they should or they shouldn't. I'm just saying that it's difficult and nobody up to this point has been able to explain to me why this makes sense. Nobody has been able to explain to me why this makes sense. And again, I want to know. I'm open to understanding. I'm truly, truly open and I want to understand it. God knows I do. If somebody is willing to explain to me how this makes sense, I am more than willing to concede and say, you know what? I was wrong about that. Let me make a correction on the record and let me apologize for my opinion and for my perspective that I told people. Brilliance Music says, I don't blame him for keeping it in the family. I don't either. If you're looking at it from a business perspective, I don't either. I don't either. If you're looking at it completely from a business perspective, I don't either. If you're looking at it from a spiritual perspective, then we got to have a different conversation.
I know. You might be a little scared. I know you might feel the weight sliding from my head to you. I know the crown is heavy. But I also know that if God is for you,
all right, so ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. TD Jakes is deciding to step down from perch atop the Potter's house. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats, and we're going to go ahead and continue on with the show. Make sure you send this to your friends and family. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. Shout out to Mr. Hunter, says, a cityscape. Shout out to Mr. Hunter, 5150. I appreciate you for holding me down, my friend. Thank you. Deacon Weezo says, will Umar step down from the FDMG Academy now? Umar ain't got no God in him. He gone as he got older though. Shout out to Hayes. Mr. Joe says prosperity preachers are leading their congregations into a burning house. Wyatt says Diddy trial about to start is going to get hectic. Shout out to Wyatt B856. I appreciate you and thank you to everybody that continues to support the platform. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let's go ahead and hit it in the name of that. With a little bit of prayer. Lord, bless us this week. Bless us to be productive. Bless everything to go well. Bless life to be awesome for all of us. I had a revelation this weekend, God, and I want to expound on that, maybe in an opening monologue this week at some point, maybe tomorrow. But I had a revelation where I realized that life is not about money itself, but money is a tool that enhances our life, or it can make things more difficult if we owe. Bless us to not be debtors. Bless us to be people that are employers. Bless us to be prosperous. Bless us to look at money as a tool. Bless us not to love it. Bless us not to have so much love for it. Bless us not to be obsessed with it, but certainly make us bag chasers. Bless us to be productive, bless us to be meaningful, and bless us to develop the character that we need in order to make sure that the money don't ruin us once we get it. I ask everything in Jesus' name, amen. All right, y'all, let's continue on with the show. So, in addition to that, I want to get over into a raid that happened over in Colorado. It should have happened a long time ago, but we've ran into a lot of opposition from mayors and governors that are of blue cities and blue states that are opposing the Trump administration, but the DEA, the FBI, and so on and so forth, ICE, is going to find out what is happening inside of these cities anyway. This is a raid that netted over 100 illegal migrants and military personnel that was playing security at these underground nightclubs. Check it out.
All right, let's shift gears right now and take you out to another major story we're following out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, as more than 100 people have been detained after this at a nightclub there in southern Colorado. I'd want to put this up from the DEA in the Rocky Mountain region. As you can see this saying more than 200 people were inside the Colorado Springs underground nightclub when the DEA and local federal partners made entry around 3:45 local time. Drugs and weapons were seized, and more than 100 illegal aliens are now in custody facing potential deportation. So we are following this very closely here on Live Now from Fox about these arrests being made, this DEA in Colorado, as we have more video of it on Live Now from Fox. I want to give you more information as federal authorities announced that more than 100 illegal immigrants were detained in a massive raid in an underground nightclub. The Drug Enforcement Administration led a multi-agency operation early Sunday morning, arrested 114 illegal immigrants at the venue that contained more than 200 people. Authorities uncovered drugs, including pink cocaine, as well as evidence of prostitution and multiple firearms during the operation. Of course, we are following it on social media. They said those facts, that they have taken more than 100 illegal aliens into custody, drugs and weapons.
Where did they think that they was going? Hey, where did they think that they was going when they start scattering about and starting trying to get out of there in the middle of the cars? So they're illegal. They are partying. They have drugs. They have guns. They have prostitution. They got women of the night, lady night walkers. You have all of these people that are feeling comfortable in these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, partying and throwing it back for a real one. These people can't be the best and the brightest in the world. No way. Impossible that these people are the best and the brightest in the world. You cannot convince me that these people are the smartest people that we have on the face of the earth, that we need to be letting inside of the United States of America to do the work. You can't convince me. So you got the Trump administration, who is openly announced, listen, we are coming for you. If you do not self-deport, you cannot come back over here. If you are a person that has committed a crime, you will definitely be rounded up because you are going to be some of the first to go and you're going to be at the top of the priority list. You should not and you cannot be doing things inside of these illegal places. We're targeting sanctuary cities and states the most. We are coming for you. We have recruited Tom Homan. We have recruited and we got our ranks back up. We got ICE officials. We got DEA. We got the IRS helping us to track people down. We got all of this stuff happening. And you still going to hang out with a whole bunch of other illegals in an underground nightclub. I know some people who may or may not be confused about what the true criteria was for the PPP loans, right? And I remember when the PPP loan list came out and you were able to search to find out who was on the PPP loan list. Now, most of the people that were a little bit confused and wasn't sure if they should have took out as much as they took out or even if they should have applied in the first place, they land low. Once Biden made the announcement and he said, listen, guys, we're going to extend the ability for us to be able to fine, prosecute, and send you to jail as well as make you pay restitution for the money that you took. We're going to extend it to 10 years. Boy, I seen them acting just like them cartoon characters. They mouth was shivering, their teeth was chattering. They started getting out of Dodge. At first, they thought it was free money. Lamborghini dealerships was booming. Cadillac popping. So many Escalades. They wasn't just getting the Escalades. They was getting the Escalade Vs. Shoes popping. They was overpaying for everything. Charms, watches, bust downs. I ain't never seen so many people have so much money in my entire life. It wasn't even tax season. I said, where's all of this money coming from? How was everybody balling at the same time? Was there an influx of jobs? Did everybody hit the lottery? Who here? Who is here? I went to the casino in Vegas and I said, okay, so everybody still got it popping. I came back home. I went to the casino here. They had up the little things, the little dividers back then. They put the little dividers back then. It was like 1,000 little T Grizzlies in Detroit. Everybody had money. Everybody was making it rain. Everybody was making it shake. I said, I thought it was a pandemic. I thought your mama was in the hospital on a respirator. Ventilator, respirator. I thought everybody was confused. It was so many little T Grizzlies running around. And when I say T Grizzlies, I'm talking about people that look just like him, that seemed like they had just as much money with them. It was out there making it rain, making it shake. I said, what is happening out here? Nowadays, ain't nobody. Everybody is sitting there like the same little dudes, the same people that I thought was balling. They just like this. It was crazy out here, dog. Hey, you seen something? They laying low. They not out here making a shake for a real one like these illegal. These migrants right here, this is a different type of migrant. These migrants are different. They have no problem, zero problem whatsoever. Zero problem whatsoever. Being visible, making a shake for a real one, and getting it popping.
Also seized there at this operation. Attorney General Pam Bondi applauded the operation, which included 300 officials across multiple agencies, including the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm, ATF. She said on social media this morning, the DEA apprehended those 100 illegal aliens at an underground nightclub frequented by TDA, Tren de Aragua, and MS-13 terrorist. Cocaine, meth, pink cocaine seized. 2 people were also arrested on existing warrants. She complimented the operation, the multi-agency operation, talking about this. So we're following that very closely. Over 100 migrants detained overnight in Colorado and Colorado Springs at this nightclub raid.
So that was yesterday. Pam Bondi had an opportunity to give us more details and speak on this extensively. And so I want to take you over there where she was standing outside of the White House, giving more insight. Pam Bondi is everywhere. She is very much visible. I don't even know what the last director was doing or what they had going on, but Pam Bondi is certainly making herself available to the general public and speaking on these issues that we're addressing.
Meanwhile, I'm here at the White House as President Trump is going to mark 100 days in office tomorrow. Today, he is highlighting his border agenda. Attorney General Pam Bondi is here now, and she has everything to do with the video you just saw in Colorado Springs. Ms. Attorney General, thanks so much for seeing my
posters up there on the back. Imagine you one of the people that got raided on, and you look up and you're looking at the news this morning from your cell, and you can see it from your pod, and you're looking at the TV, and you're about to head over to El Salvador, and you see your picture on the White House lawn.
First
Thank
time seeing you
you.
since you
I
got the job.
know.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us what you were thinking about when we were watching that video seconds ago.
America is safer tonight thanks to Donald Trump. Last night.
Wait. Miguel, you said she fine to you. Who fine to you? You talking about Pam? Pam is fine to you? I'm not saying that nothing is wrong with Pam. I'm just saying, like, it's Pam Bondi. Y'all just be doing anything, don't y'all? You said Pam, she fine to you? Pam is fine? She just looked like a regular white girl to me. She looked like a normal white girl. Pam Bondi is bad to you? All right, we gonna have to rediscover what bad looked like. Let me get back over to Pam Bondi talking about the migrants. Good God.
Brian, what they did, so to back up, during the Biden administration, they received 170 911 calls to that club alone. That club we were just watching, 170 calls. Wouldn't you think that would have been a red flag?
Wouldn't.
Nothing happened.
I'm not saying that Pam is not decent looking for her age, but I don't look. The first thing that I see when I see Pam Bondi, I don't be like, oh, that's a bad one right there. I just be like, Pam Bondi is doing a great job. Good God.
Guns, shootings, ag batteries, nothing happened. So under Donald Trump, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, ATF.
Quinn says, I just don't like white women. Why wouldn't I like white women? I've given white women compliments all the time. I give all women compliments. I think that all women have a level of beauty to them, and all of them, regardless of your race, have great things. Now, I have a preference. My preference are all women. I don't know. I think that my preference is based off of proximity. I grew up around majority black women, so I'll probably, no matter what my situation is, I'll always probably have a preference for black women. That's just kind of my thing. I'm not really ever into anything else, but it doesn't change anything. Like, I don't look at Pam Bondi and be like, oh man, that's a baddie right there. I just don't see it. It's just Pam Bondi.
ICE, everyone went in together. DEA led this investigation, went in, got 115 illegal immigrants,
right,
aliens in our country, arrested them, 2 with warrants, 12 guns seized. So what would happen in this club is you would go in, security would give you a menu of drugs, cocaine, there's something new called pink cocaine, meth. You could go in a bathroom stall, get that. There was prostitution.
Wait. Anton, see, y'all always want to derail me. Anton, the DHS, Department of Homeland Secretary. You talking about Kristi Noem, who got her purse stolen? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to stop, bro. Y'all got to stop. How old is Kristi Noem? Kristi Noem is 53. Like, she cool. She cool, man. Y'all just do anything, bro. Like, she cool. She straight. I have no problem with Kristi Noem, whatever, but she looks good for 53. Kristi Noem is not a person that you look at, you be like, oh my God, I got to get to Kristi Noem. No, Kristi Noem looks just like my neighbor, bro. Nah, y'all tripping, bro. Y'all on something today. Some of y'all must be really, really backed up. You've been taking my advice, not beating off, and now all of a sudden y'all got. Let me get to this.
Institution, all these things going on, and we just now identified a member of Sinaloa cartel was also in there.
So that's interesting because it's not a sanctuary city, right?
No.
Denver is, but Colorado Springs isn't. You look at this for the longest time. What is the downside of raiding that club during the Biden years? What's the negative side of it? Do you prefer illegal drug use and illegal aliens?
And prostitution and the violence and the shootings and the guns that was happening in that club, and no one did anything after 170 911 calls. Yet President Trump immediately,
they went to Comic-Con
that was a really
over the
dangerous
weekend.
operation too, and that's why there were 300 agents all working hand in hand, and that's what Donald Trump has done so well. All of our agencies work so well together. Went in there, got these bad guys out, 115 arrests, 12 guns off the streets, lots of drugs off the streets now, less prostitution as a result of it.
You know, it's so interesting. I know Kellyanne Conway did a great job focusing on fentanyl when it started emerging as the plague that's killed our country and so many young people in the first term. But you guys have really amped it up working with border security in terms of fentanyl, taking it off the streets. Do you have a number there?
Yeah, Brian, when I was state AG, I actually worked with Kellyanne when she was in the White House on this because the fentanyl was just emerging on the market. And yes, now since Donald Trump has been in office, DEA has seized over 21 million fentanyl pills. That's 21 million lives saved, in my opinion, off the street.
And I agree with you. Shout out to Pam Bondi. Steven Slayer once says, I thought you liked them older, Anton. No, I like age-appropriate women. You can't compare to something that I might have done when I'm younger to who I am when I'm 43 years old. Yes, okay, so you talk to an older woman or two or three or four when you were younger as a man, but that don't necessarily mean that every single older woman you see that's 60 years old or older, you be like, oh my God, that's a good one. No, she's just a woman that's doing her job. She's well taken care of for a 53, 60-year-old woman or whatever. They're aging gracefully. That's awesome. But every woman that's aging gracefully does not necessarily mean that you want to bust them down for a real one. Good God. Y'all do got them beer goggles on. See, y'all backed up. Y'all backed up. When you backed up, everything looked good. Until you get that clarity, then you be like, man, what am I doing? Come on, man. Hold on. You got to get past the clarity. You got to get past the goggle phase. There is a goggle phase for guys a lot of times. When you've been doing something egregious for so long, and then you start to get yourself together, it's almost like you having sugar withdrawal. So now every little piece of fruit, every little piece of candy, everything, oh my God, it just looks so good. I can't believe. No, you just got to get over that sugar high, get over that sugar crashing that you got, and then you're going to start coasting and you're going to be good. Y'all just desperate out here, bro.
Streets.
No doubt about it. We also know, too, at the cusp of all the tariffs is getting China to stop sending the precursors to Mexico. If China would actually act responsibly, that would help your job a lot. It wouldn't even get to you, hopefully. So let's talk about what's going on with these judges. The sensational video last week of having to arrest a judge, and now we have another judge reportedly in Wisconsin boycotting their courtroom. We're threatening to, unless this judge is released. Tell me about this.
Sure. Well, the judge, her last name is Dugan. She is in Milwaukee, and what she did to set the stage.
Yeah, y'all got to look at the neck. You're right. I've been telling y'all that it's the neck, elbows, hands, ankles, top of her feet. All of that stuff will tell you more realistically what's going on. Because most of the time they don't get Botox on their neck. They don't get it on their hands. They don't get it on their ankles, their elbows. I was in the Kroger, that same Kroger, the other day, and there was a woman that was in there. And I could, she looked like she was a little cute. But then I seen her move, and I seen her neck, and then I seen I could tell she had lost a whole lot of weight because her skin was a little flabby. And you got to pay attention to the details. Dudes will just be slapping up on anything. And I also know that they be selling that stuff on online and on TikTok and stuff. Waist shapers, trainers that give you a little bit of cup on your butt, take in your sides a little bit, the loose skin and all of that stuff. Let them fully get themselves together before y'all start jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, baby, I seen you lose weight. She's still trying to figure it out, bro. She's still trying to figure out. She's got to get her skin taken back. She got to do a lot of stuff. Let that woman get herself together before you start hitting on her. Oh, you a baddie now. No, just chill. Just chill for a second, bro.
Stage for that. There was a domestic violence case pending. This defendant was charged with pummeling a man in the face 30 times. That's like an MMA fight. He fell to the ground. He had strangled him. Then he punched a woman with a closed fist so hard in the face that she fell to the ground. Both victims went to the hospital. Domestic violence cases, it's hard enough to get a victim to cooperate. Both victims were sitting in that courtroom wanting justice with a state prosecutor. Court goes on. All of a sudden, the case isn't on the docket. Defendant's nowhere to be found. They found out that the judge learned that ICE was outside because he was an illegal alien from Mexico to arrest him, to deport him. She found that out. She raised her voice with the ICE, told them to go see the chief judge, came back in. While court was going on, she motioned for the defense attorney and the defendant to come up, snuck them out through a private chamber. You can't make this up. In her courtroom, snuck them out a back exit so he could run down the street. ICE ended up chasing him down the street. Someone saw him, chased him, caught him eventually. But the reason ICE, they make arrests in courtrooms all the time is because it's safe. A defendant has gone through security. They don't have a weapon. It's an easy arrest. No one's injured. But because she did this, she jeopardized the lives of law enforcement officers, even the defendant. By doing this, they had to have a chase down the street while victims of a crime were sitting in a courtroom.
Judge in jail?
Yeah, these judges, I did a video last week on these judges that are basically harboring illegal migrants, getting arrested and stuff like that. I think that Pam Bondi and everybody that's a part of the Trump administration is doing a good job. Yeah. So shout out to them and shout out to all of the illegal migrants over there in Colorado that got arrested. And now they got to go and visit El Salvador. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to come over there and continue on with the show. 392Q says, would an NDA change the Shannon Sharpe situation? No, because an NDA doesn't protect you against the allegations that he's being accused of. It doesn't. Rock That Icon says, good morning, Anton. How was the meetup with Aristotle? I'm hoping to see a podcast or an interview soon. It was dope. We hung out for a long time. We hung out. We had a good time. We chopped it up. We talked business and everything is awesome. I'm not going to say what we talked about. I can't say that. Yeah. Casual Germ says, but AD, they thick though. I know y'all always say everything is thick. You just don't like light white women, says Quentin. Quentin is doing text to chat. Talk to text. Nancy Mason, AOC, wet t-shirt. Oh, God. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? Miguel says, I'm standing on it too. If you put Pam and me in the same room, I'm making it stank in there. That is trifling. That is one of the most trifling things I'd have never heard in a long time. Make sure y'all hit a like. Y'all can't be back chasers. We don't do Dusty. You make sure you stay away from the meetup that we got coming up. Make sure if y'all back chasers to respond to what I posted inside of the Patreon today. Let me go ahead and pivot and we're going to move over into, where was we at? Colorado? Let's go over to Canada real quick. So 10 minutes on this. Canada is holding elections, but the majority of the election is focused on Trump. But their elections are very similar to what we have happening over here in the United States of America. Interesting. Let me pivot for a second. We got a backup video. Let's get to it.
It's quite extraordinary to see the way that the polls have turned, because only months ago it really was the Conservatives' election to lose. The expectation was that Pierre Poilievre was going to bring his party to victory and that there was no way that the Liberals could turn things around in such a short time frame. But two things seem to have happened. One is that Mark Carney, having taken over as Prime Minister and Liberal leader, has sought to jettison some of the policies of Justin Trudeau and to do that quite deliberately. And with his experience, obviously, at Goldman Sachs and at central banks, he's seen as a pretty steady hand on the economic tiller at a difficult time, and someone who might be able to help navigate some of the difficult moments that we're in. And also you have the question of the Trump effect, which is that Donald Trump, very aggressively going for Canada on trade, just over the border on migration as well. And certainly you could say fundamentally upending the relationship between the US and Canada. And that's really played into the election campaign. You can
So let's stop there. I got another video that I want to show you guys really quickly so you guys can get the so much for that idea. So you guys can get the gist of what's happening with this Canadian election. So hold on. Let me see if I can actually find something else really quickly. Because I want to make sure that you guys are informed on what's going on with these elections over in Canada. Let me see if I can find this one. Give me a second.
If you're a woman over 60 and you want to lose weight,
tomorrow is the end of voting in Canada to elect a new prime minister. The big issue in this campaign has been U.S.-Canadian relations, especially President Trump's tariffs. The two frontrunners are Liberal Party leader and current Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre. Since the beginning of the year, opinion polls have gone from showing a commanding Conservative Party lead to a narrower but consistent Liberal Party lead. David Frum is a writer for The Atlantic and host of the podcast The David Frum Show. He's a native and part-time resident of Canada. David, more than 20 percentage point swing from the beginning of the year to now. What happened?
Let's talk about first why the Conservatives were so far ahead. Under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the Liberals have governed Canada for a decade, since 2015. Economic progress has been disappointing over those 10 years. Productivity growth was slow. Incomes did not rise. The Trudeau strategy for overcoming this poor performance of the economy productively was to invite many more immigrants to come, to make at least the economy bigger. Canada's immigration rates were already high. He effectively doubled it. So Canadians find themselves poor economic performance, huge inflow of immigrants, rising housing prices, much disappointment. That put the Conservatives ahead until Trump began to open his mouth.
So basically what they're telling you is that Canada, because if you want to project what the United States of America would have been like had we not elected Trump as our president of the United States of America, Canada was a much more extreme version of what we were experiencing here in the United States of America. So their strategy amid a failing economy and continuing to tax their people over to oblivion, healthcare crisis, because even though they have free healthcare for all, nobody had primary care physicians. And a lot of these different states, or not even states, let's just say provinces, a lot of different provinces and a lot of these places, it's not incentivized for you to have a independent healthcare provider that can do preventative healthcare for you so that you don't end up in the hospital. So although you had free healthcare for all, what's happened is people have been overtaxed in order to support it, while at the same time their economy is collapsing and they have no primary care providers. So people would just go to the hospital for emergencies, and then you would have these extremely long wait times. And people were complaining about Canada's healthcare system because it did not work and it was not productive. And even though it was being marketed over here that everybody had free healthcare over in Canada, first of all, nothing is free, so the taxpayers are the ones that's going to pay for it. Secondly, it wasn't working for the people because they couldn't do preventative maintenance. Third, the people were suffering. And fourth, the economy was collapsing. And so what Canada decided to do was take their liberal policies and triple down. They decided that they wanted to have more illegal migrants or immigration into the country, while at the same time eroding their base. And that gave rise to a conservative party. This is the reason why we were saying that Justin Trudeau was trash. This is the reason why he was flying over here and Trump was saying, yeah, man, we just need to go ahead and make Canada the 51st state and just call it a day. Shout out to Governor Justin Trudeau. It was difficult. Very, 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 very difficult. Very difficult. I mean, outside of the beer and the hockey, people in Canada were suffering. Trust me, I know. Those are our neighbors. I talk to some of them from time to time to better understand exactly what's happening in the economy. And so the Conservative Party was leading by a wide margin. When Mark Carney came in to the demise of Justin Trudeau, who is the former Canadian Prime Minister, who just recently stepped down amidst this whole tariff war, Mark Carney came in and he is an even more liberal, more of what Justin Trudeau was. And you know what the unfortunate part about this situation is? Is that the minute that you get a little bit of change, but a person becomes even more liberal, the people don't learn from their mistakes. And you know what they did? They reelected the same type of person. They reelected the same type of person. Sounds familiar? We almost got it wrong. We almost found ourselves following the 92% over into the polls. We almost found ourselves allowing for these liberals to determine and dictate what we do, and the possibility of what if, and the dreams and the aspirations of such. I mean, so much so that Justin Trudeau actually said that he thought that Kamala Harris should become president of the United States of America. I wonder why.
Talk about that. What happened after Trump, as you put it, Trump opened his mouth?
Well, Canada and the United States have a $1 trillion trading relationship. Obviously, there are always frictions, and they always have to be resolved. And traditionally, they've been resolved through negotiation, amicably, and in the context of a relationship that's also about security, policing, environmental. It's an excellent relationship almost all the time. Trump began to put demands on Canada, and they were—
Somebody said, people are scared. They think they will have another Trump. I have tons of family in Canada. Okay, well then keep doing what you have been doing. I think that will work out beautifully for you guys. Listen, keep doing the thing that y'all been doing for the last 10 years that have driven you guys into economic collapse and to have an overwhelming majority of people migrating and trying to get migrants into the country. Go ahead, do what you do, overtax the people, and then see how that plays out for y'all.
They weren't rational demands. And that has, of course, rallied Canadian opinion to the flag and made Canadians look around to say, which politician seems least like Donald Trump? And that's the guy we're going to back.
Tell us about the two leaders who are likely to be, one of them will be the new prime minister, Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre.
The Conservative Party leader has been leader for a while. He's a very dynamic House of Commons performer. He had made his mark on the issue, above all, of housing prices. And he'd appealed strongly to younger voters who have been priced out of housing markets, especially in Vancouver and Toronto. And
does this sound familiar, you guys? Does this sound familiar? So the Conservative Party leader had been appealing to a younger demographic. They then say that as this guy was appealing to a younger demographic, now the people have switched because they were scared of the Conservative Party leader that actually was going to probably solve the majority of what the problems were inside of Canada. Let's let this play out, and then we're going to go over into Trump having the biggest impact on the election.
And that was the core of his message: economic change, accelerate economic growth, bring down housing prices so you can start a family. But the Conservatives also have a minority within the Conservative Party that has responded to some Trump-like themes. And so Canadians sense the Conservatives weren't as anti-Trump as Canadian voters were at a time when Trump was saying, I want to destroy Canada. And so Mark Carney, who's a banker who's never run for any office before, stepped in as the clean face of the Liberals, replaced Justin Trudeau, and is saying, I will stand up to Trump, and I will deliver the kind of more economic nationalism of a Canadian variety. Someone is going to say no to Trump, and they're not so sure that the Conservatives would say no to everything.
When Americans hear liberal and conservative, they think they're analogous to the Democrats and Republicans. Is that right?
That's not at all right. So the Liberal Party of Canada is the most effective political organization in the democratic world. They've held, out of the past 100 years, they are all about winning. They are very unlike the Democrats. And there is not a thing they stand for that they wouldn't turn it upside down if it helped them win votes. The Conservative Party is a much more regionally based party. It's a much more fractious party. And it's got a higher floor of supporters, but a lower ceiling. And it's a much less ideological party than the American Republicans. So the Liberals, much more ruthless than the Democrats. The Conservatives, much less ideological than the Republicans. That's why you can have such a big movement of votes, because it's not that polarized a country, not that ideological a party system.
We've had record early voting in Canada. Does that reflect voter interest?
It reflects two things. First, the turnout is going to be high. There's also been a trend in Canada for the vote to splinter into smaller parties, regional parties, Green parties, the left-wing NDP. This election looks like to be a reconcentration in the two big parties, Liberals.
So basically, they're the same as what we've been dealing with over here in the United States of America, but instead they decided that they wanted to vote in Biden for a second term. Actually, Even better, they decided that they wanted to vote in Kamala Harris because Mark Carney is the successor to Justin Trudeau. So right now, as of the recording of this, they are saying that the Liberal Party is actually the one that is leading in the polls, but the polls could be a little bit more misconstrued than possible. Let's get over into this other part of the video.
See that in the polling, that the number one issue most Canadian voters say that they're focusing on in the short term is, the US relationship.
But isn't the fact that that Trump threat is overshadowing a productivity crisis that both of the leaders don't have much room to fix fiscally?
Well, that's right. And the economy is in a very difficult spot in Canada, and it could become even more so because while Canada has some cars, because it's a big exporter to the US of products the US needs, it's also really the kind of sole market for a lot of Canadian products, and so only set to become even more complicated.
Natwan, what is his name? Natwan Salary says the downside I have seen is having so many parties is that the power is not consolidated enough to get anything done. Well, what will usually happen in that type of situation, which these new parties are a good thing, right? So when you see the Green Party, Libertarians, Independents, all of that stuff over here in the United States of America, you see some of those issues start to be adopted by. So those parties are not there so that they can actually win the election. They never do. They never do. They're there to influence how other parties actually govern once they become elected, or to adopt certain issues from those parties that they think more closely align with whatever it is that they do, right? So you may see a Jill Stein, and one of the things that Jill Stein actually educated Charlemagne and everybody else on the Breakfast Club about was she helped them to understand that a lot of the same issues that liberals or conservatives or Republicans or Democrats argue about today were a part of what it is that that party in particular had been championing for a long time. So often at times you'll see these much larger Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal parties be influenced by what is happening in these individual parties. All right. They don't necessarily win elections, but they absolutely 100% change the trajectory of whether or not you have people that are on the fence that I would more or less say are independents, even though they may be subscribed to a specific party. Look at what you've seen from RFK Jr. RFK Jr. had a huge impact, I believe, in his past election. And one of the things that I think that helped Donald Trump win and sweep every single swing state, along with Tulsi Gabbard, defecting over from the Democrat Party because she was one of the people that absolutely destroyed Kamala Harris in her first go around to try to run for president of the United States of America, was the fact that there were several people that switched parties and said that they wanted to actually be a part of Donald Trump's campaign, right? So I think that a lot of these parties are basically there to be feeders as well as impact or sway specific voters one way or another, depending on whatever it is that they're more closely aligned with. So I don't think that the parties necessarily need to be consolidated. I think that that's where you start to see corruption. When you see one party or only a two-party system have all the power and no impact, nothing else is influencing them, then that could absolutely bring, I think, absolute corruption. And that's why we need the Department of Government Efficiency. That's why we see fraud, waste, and abuse. That's why we see a lot of this military-industrial complex controlling what's happening with these wars. I think that that's when you start to see a lot of stealing, a lot of dealing. You start to see a lot of people doing things that they really, politics is already corrupt, but I think that it goes even more left. That's just my personal opinion.
And so the economic picture is very difficult. The question is, do voters in the minute when they stand there to cast their ballot today say, I'm going to vote on sort of an emotional level really about the US relationship, or I'm going to vote on those underlying long-term structural economic issues, including housing as well, which is a big one for a lot of people in Canada, and whose best placed to fix all of that. You know, the Conservatives have campaigned on the idea also that Mark Carney, while he has moved to separate himself from Justin Trudeau, is still really sort of Trudeau in Carney clothing in a way, that he's not fundamentally that different, and that his economic policies would echo Justin Trudeau. And of course, Trudeau's economic policies were not particularly popular at the time that he stepped aside.
The polls have, as you've mentioned, shifted in favour of the Liberal Party. Where might we be looking for surprises as we see the results come in later?
Well, it's interesting because the very last poll that we've seen has shown a little bit of slippage again for Carney. And the question is, does he get enough of the seats to form a government in his own right? Or are we headed potentially for another minority government in Canada? I mean, the strongholds traditionally for the Liberals, Quebec, Ontario, seem to be where they are going into the vote. The question in a way is also about Western Canada, which is the traditional stronghold for the Conservatives. And
I think that it's going to be a really close election. We've never actually even cared about Canadian elections until this election, and that actually shows you how much power that Trump has. And so we're going to get into that shortly. But I'll keep you guys informed on what's happening over there in Canada, of what's happening in these elections. Let me go ahead and read a few of these super chats, and then we're going to continue on with the show. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Hayes. Hayes says, curious if you got any collaborations lined up with other YouTubers and appear on their podcasts or lives in the future. Listen, if somebody want me to come on their platform and you have a halfway decent following, just hit me up. I have no problem traveling. I do not charge to come on people's platforms, but personally, I do not have any plans to bring anybody, to be honest with you. I'm just kind of in my own little vein, in my own little phase, doing my own thing. No. I do got a couple people coming in May. I do got some people coming in May. I'm not even going to cap. I forgot about that. But as far as like trying to get people on the platform and stuff like that, be honest with you, Hayes, I don't really care like that right now. I don't. I just feel like I'm doing my own thing. I got my own motion. I'm comfortable in my own space, and I'm rocking out with my bag chasers. So if I wind up getting in touch with somebody, it's just going to be on some natural stuff. It's not going to be on me actually petitioning them. AD, are we going to see you do a White House interview? I have not been invited. I did apply, but I have not been invited. So we'll see what happens. Maybe one day, Vaughn. Damian Brown says, we still getting an updated interview like a king? Yes, you are. I'll need that help to get into physician's assistant school. No student loans, by the way. Shout out to the VA that's paying for it. Congratulations, my friend. Yardley Moy says, Army National Guard is offering $50,000 student loan payback, but you have to sign up for 6 years. Y'all Negroes and Negroettes better sign up. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do no work. They ain't trying to do nothing different. People are going to look back on Trump in 10 to 15 years and say he's the greatest president we ever had. I agree. Are you going to speak on Trump's approval rating? I plan on having that conversation tomorrow, because tomorrow will be the official 100 days that Trump has been in office. So the show that I'm planning for tomorrow is the 100-day show, and I will go over everything that he's done over the last 100 days, whether we agree, disagree, so on and so forth. So path to first 100 days. Today is the 99th day. Tomorrow is supposed to be the 100th day. And so I do not want to get ahead of myself. I want to make sure that I actually review it on the day that it matters. I actually wanted to name this show differently, but I decided to hold off, and I'm going to actually have that conversation tomorrow. All right. So that is what you guys can look for tomorrow. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. All right. Let's pivot for a second. Let's talk about Trump, right? Let's talk about Trump with migrants and him saying that he's controlling the world. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's pop.
This week, the UN Special Representative to Haiti warned that gang violence there is surging, pushing the Caribbean nation to a, quote, point of no return. It comes as many Haitian migrants here in the U.S. are living in limbo as the Trump administration attempts to eliminate the Biden-era program that brought them to the U.S. legally. NBC's Michelle Sandor has the story of one couple who found a home and a community in a small town in Texas and are now facing the possibility of returning to the violence and instability they fled.
This past Easter Sunday in Panhandle, Texas, Shirley Jean was praying for a miracle for her and her husband, Kevin Jean. The couple immigrated legally to the U.S. from Haiti in 2023 through the CHNV Humanitarian Sponsorship Program, started by then President Biden to help curb illegal immigration from certain politically unstable countries. What made you want to leave Haiti?
The situation is very dangerous there. There are armed gangs controlling many areas.
The two got jobs and made friends, but now the Trump administration is ending the program. And in letters like this one, telling Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans in the program that they have until April 24th to self-deport or face deportation. And while a judge has temporarily paused that order, the Trump administration has appealed, and the court could rule as early as next week.
Go back to Haiti, it's a death sentence.
And for the more than 200,000 Haitians in their situation, there are also logistical challenges. The FAA has banned all U.S. flights to Haiti's largest airport in Port-au-Prince. There are still flights to northern Haiti, but the couple and others say gangs controlling the roads there make them unsafe. How hard is it to get back to Haiti in this moment?
It's a war zone right now. So going back to Port-au-Prince is like killing myself.
Pierre Esperance, a human rights activist living in Haiti, says the situation there is worse than it was in 2023, with gangs now controlling 95% of metropolitan areas in Port-au-Prince.
Haiti is un pays qui toujours a problème.
Haiti is a country that has always had problems, but these problems of insecurity are unprecedented.
Where's Wyclef Jean when you need him? I thought we had gave like billions of dollars over to Haiti. Didn't we give like billions of dollars when Haiti had got messed up and stuff like that? Where's Wyclef? I thought he was running to be president of Haiti. Now gangs control 95%, including the airports over at Haiti. Interesting. Sometimes, because I'm always trying to understand what the mindset is between myself and liberals, right? And when I see stuff happening like what is happening over at Haiti, right? And I see that they never made Haiti great again. They didn't Maha. They never did a Maha over at Haiti. They didn't make Haiti great again. They ceded control and everybody ran. And they said, nope, we don't want to be a part of this. And so all of the people that's over in Haiti decided that they wanted to come over to other countries, including, because it's not just the United States of America, but it's the United States of America. And I truly feel bad for them as human beings. I feel horrible. But one thing that I do see from people, as we see this beautiful couple that comes on our screen and is talking about the importance of staying here in the United States of America, courtesy of the CBP One app, right? And I know that we have this proxy war that we were fighting during the Biden administration, even though we were not supposed to have any new wars. We're fighting proxy wars with other countries, including with Ukraine and Russia, right? But nobody has ever cared to intercede on what is happening over in places like Haiti and Sudan and the Congo. Nobody cares. Nobody is tripping about what is happening over in these places. So what the Biden administration did was he opened it up and he let people bring their culture here, and make no mistake about it. As much as we want to be nice people, and as much as we've seen things change as far as we want to change lives and stuff like that, and y'all let people come over in Springfield, and they brought 20,000 over there to Springfield, they bring their culture with them. They 100% bring their culture with them. Good or bad, they bring their culture with them. But here's my thing. Why are they not Mahan? Anton, what does Maha mean? Why are they not making Haiti great again? Why do we, I don't see any other countries really taking a major role with their military, with their resources, with opening up their borders. I don't see any other country that is doing it the way that the United States of America does it. When they have certain people in office, I don't see anybody interceding or taking in more migrants than us. Just being objective. Just being objective.
On Monday, I questioned President Trump about the situation.
These are Haitians who came legally through that Biden-era program, who their communities, even in Texas, conservative voters saying these people should not be forced to leave.
Well, if they came legally, then they're going to be in good shape.
But in a statement, a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security called the Biden-era program an unlawful scheme and said multiple third countries have agreed to accept Haitians deported from the U.S. Stephanie, a U.S. citizen who brought 8 family members over from Haiti legally through the program, is bracing for the worst. She is not showing her face and only using her first
name. 8 family members. How do you bring somebody over?
Because she is
people over there. They need to revolt. They need to revolt and they need to take their country back. They need to reestablish stability in the region and then take their country back. They got to revolt. They got to fight it. So if we just completely failed over here in the United States of America, who's going to come and save us? Shoot, on a local level. I know little Haiti right over there in Florida, down there by Miami. It's crazy over there. Y'all ever been to Opelika? You ever been over to little Haiti? Because I know that Miami and Miami Beach and the Keys and, all of those places, they get all of the visibility. I know they get South Beach, North Beach. They show y'all. They don't show y'all Opelika. They don't show you Overtown. They don't show you Overtown. They don't show you little Haiti. They don't show you where they got what's his name? We the best. Yeah, Lil Haiti is nicer than it used to be, Black Beauty, because now they pumping a lot of money in there because people can't afford to live in Miami, and so they moving further out and they building up the neighborhood itself. It's the same thing that's happening in Overtown. If you look at Wynwood, if you look at Wynwood over in Miami, Wynwood was not the way that it is today. Wynwood, that's near the design district, used to be the hood. Look, all you got to do is go a few streets over and to the right. A few streets over and to the right. They starting to move out all of them homeless people. They building up all of the... I've seen more buildings pop up over the last 2 to 3 years over in Wynwood than I ever have in my entire life. Wynwood did not used to look like it did. Overtown, go right under that bridge. Go over that bridge and walk past there. If you ride your bike, ride a scooter over there and see what's happening. Go over there. We got a little Haiti that's right down there in Miami, Florida. Ain't nobody tripping about that. I'm just telling you that we got a lot to do. We got a lot of work to do in our own country. We do. We got a lot to do in our own country. We don't have the capability. Overtown is different now, ain't it? We don't have the capability. Y'all didn't know that I was over in the real Miami, did y'all? Y'all thought that we was just hanging out in the design district, that we over there in Brickell. No, that's where your favorite YouTubers and podcasters are. YouTubers and podcasters, they over in Brickell. They doing their street interviews over there, lattes, coffees, Cuban restaurants, Miami Beach. Nah, it's another part. It's several other parts. And so when I had the opportunity to live down there, I had the opportunity to really hang out in some spaces. And DJ Khaled's restaurant, that's not in the best part of the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of back alleys over there.
Concerned that her family will be targeted by immigration officials.
I brought them here thinking this was going to be safety. And it's as if I took him out of a burning house and threw them in a furnace instead.
Back in Texas,
knowing Kevinson and Shirley have changed some of my views. Knowing them personally and seeing the struggle and seeing the fear that comes with all of this situation, it's humanized the problem. These are people.
And you know what's so funny over here? You want to know who we are? The black community here, the blackity blacks, the people that support the Umar Johnsons and stuff like that, they don't rock with these people. The only time that black people rock with Haitians, Jamaicans, Cubans, people from Ghana, Johannesburg, South Africa, the only time, Nigerians, the only time that black people from here rock with them is if they don't like Trump. So then we'll say, oh man, immigration, I can't believe it or whatever, Trump is stupid, because they always say that Trump is bad for everything. That's the only time that they start to support other people that may look like them, but these people, they not rocking with y'all. Segregation is real amongst people that are black here in the United States of America. Listen. While a lot of people over here try to segregate themselves against white people, the real war is people that look like each other warring against each other and warring against the hood. The real war, listen, the white thing, the whole white systematic oppression thing, that's a footnote. The real war is the people that are not originally from the United States of America are warring against people that are inherently born here in the United States of America, and they don't like each other. There is a silent war that is happening between people that are not from the United States and people that are from the United States of America, but you have to be black. This is how divisive people with melanin in their skin are always going to be. They don't like each other. The most divided places, the places that have the most destruction, angry, gang infested problems, are both in the hoods here in the United States of America and over in other places outside of the United States of America. If you gave the United States of America to black people en masse, if you gave the United States of America to black people en masse, to all people that had an extreme amount of melanin inside of their skin, this place will be ripped apart from the inside and the out. It would be ripped apart inside and out. People would absolutely, positively tear this place apart. It would still be warring. It would be a class war. It would be light skin against dark skin. It would be American descendants of slaves versus immigrants or people that migrated over here, Jamaicans, Haiti, Haitians, people from all of these different places. It will be ripped apart. It will still be divisive. It would still be divided. Dark versus light skin. It would still be divided. 100%, bro. 100% it would be divided. And this is how you know that there's not really a war against white people. There's not really a war against people that don't look like you. There's a war within yourself. The real war is here. It's a black heart. It's a black heart. There is so much hate from people that basically continue to curse themselves, that subject themselves to this mentality that they should not evaluate people based off of character or their life decisions, but more or less where you come from, what tribe you in, and they brought that same BS from over there to right here on the United States of American soil. It's a black heart. It's a hateful heart. It's not about principle. It's not about laws. It's not about none of that. It's about this. It's a black heart. Some people have a dark heart. And it's not just black people. Europeans, they do the same thing. They have gangs over in Japan. They got gangs over in China. They got separation. It's a dark heart. It's truly a dark heart. It's not about what you do. It's about where you from. Hey, where you from? What hood you claim? You can go to prison. Think about this for a second. There are people in prison that segregate themselves. Now, all of them is locked up, right? All of them got to cough and squat as they get into prison. All of them is basically in there for doing something that they're not supposed to do. And then you got to separate yourself based off of race. And then you have to separate yourself based off of your hood. And then you got to separate yourself based off of the color that you wear. What set you from, homie? All of them are being policed. All of them can't see daylight until somebody tell them, hey, open up cell block 1. And they're still tribal. Even in prison, they're tribal. You see how dumb it is? You see how stupid it is? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. It's messed up. It's truly messed up. Our mentality as people are so messed up, bro. It's so stupid. You know what people are mad at Shannon Sharpe the most for? Not even that she young, but that she was a young white woman. You have to ask yourself, why are people mad at the whole Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf situation? If it was 2 white boys, we wouldn't be hearing nothing about it. If it was 2 black kids, we wouldn't be hearing anything about it. But the fact that one was white and one was black is the thing that got all of the attention. And now, that's when the name calling starts. That's when people start becoming sellouts. That's when people start becoming coons. That's when people start becoming every single name and animal that you could find in your life. The only thing that make headlines is the thing that is race related. If something is divided based off of race, you can guarantee, you can bet your bottom dollar, it is going to be a headline. 100%. I don't even want to tell y'all what I seen over the weekend. I went and got my car done, and I was sitting in the little lobby area waiting to get my car done. So I was getting it detailed in the inside and the out, and I was sitting in the lobby area. And I noticed it too because it is something that is happening in the area a lot. And there was a lot of guys. Well, actually, it was 2 black girls. And they were sitting 2 seats down from me, but I can hear them because we was outside, and so it was a lot of noise, but I could still hear their conversation. So I was doing a little bit of ear hustling because I like to see what's happening in the streets. And they were like, all these guys, all they want is white girls. All they want is white girls, and all they want is white girls. And I was like, And so naturally, I thought that it would basically intersect with a conversation that was happening with Shannon Sharpe and stuff. But that's all they basically said. It was like, all these guys, all they want is white girls. All they want is white girls. And it was 2 black girls, whatever. And it was younger black girls. And almost this is the honest to God truth. And I don't care who you talk to. Don't make me no difference whatsoever. Almost every single car. Then it made me perk up as I started looking. Every single car that drove through, whether you was getting your car detailed or whether you was actually getting your car washed. If it was a couple in there, it was a black guy and it was a white woman. Didn't matter what the white girl looked like. Some of them white girls were straight from Taylor, looked like they were straight from Wyandotte, Westland, big necks, big neck, big neck, big neck. They was choosing. Didn't matter what the guy was driving. Didn't matter if he was winning, if he was losing. It was a black guy and it was a white woman. And so it then made me start to perk up. But then I realized that, wait a minute, I'm being programmed because people are putting it inside of my head. So I'm looking for it now. I see it every single day. Anyways. Big neck, big neck, big neck. Look at Eric D going off on the black women in the chat. Oh my God. Eric D, D, I've never seen you this way. I thought that you were all about politics. Eric D, what is going on? What is going on, Eric D? Eric D, you good, bro? Ooh, I didn't know Eric D was on this type of time. Eric D. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Get your brother. Get your brother. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. Let me just say this for a second. I'm going to get into the next part of the show. I just got to say this really, really quickly. I hold everybody accountable, right? And I'm an equal accountability smoke giver, meaning that nobody can get by me. Y'all be getting mad at me inside of the chat because I be going off on the guys and making examples of them. Obviously, I go off on the women. I make examples of them. And I will give you this. We have a problem with neck twisting, hand clapping, finger clapping, all of this, snap on a 2-time. Our black women do have a big problem. They have a cultural issue. They need to fix that. But for whatever reason, y'all keep thinking that these white girls is any better. They are not better. They are finessing y'all the same way. Just because they're not overt with it, don't mean that they're not doing it to you. They just a little bit more careful with what it is that they presenting out there to the general public when they trying to get one of y'all to get y'all finessed. Y'all are so confused. It is feminism in general. It knows no bounds. It has no color boundaries. The whole mindset behind feminism and matriarchy and they are advocating against updating family court laws. The ones that I see protesting the most against y'all in family court and holding y'all kids from y'all are white women. For whatever reason, y'all keep thinking that these women are any better. They're not. They're the same. They're all the same. They just come with a different little lingo. They change their little verbiage a little bit, and then they make some adjustments. It's not. It's a cultural issue. It's the mindset of women in Western America. It has nothing to do with whether they're a black woman or a white woman. So y'all got to get up off of them for a second. Hold on for a second. I mean, let me throw the little sisters. Let me throw the sisters a little bit of rope right now. It is not only black women. It's not. Y'all getting finesse. They don't like y'all like that. You the come up, dog. Oh, they choosing us. No, they finessing you. Wake up. Wake up, dog. Good God. You think it ain't a whole lot of single white baby mamas too? It is. It's a whole lot of them. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. A whole lot of them. Feminism started with them. Dr. Oz recently appointed to the head of trying to solve for this Medicare, Medicaid situation to keep it solvent. He recently appeared on Fox News to speak about DOGE playing a major role in evaluating and finding the fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. Check it out.
But I am optimistic. Why? Because we control our destiny. Because at its very core, we have a generational opportunity, a unique ability to save the healthcare system because we control all the big pieces. America is too great for small dreams. So I've got some big ideas.
So there you go. Let's hear about the big ideas right now. Being sworn in to head the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, laying out a vision for the agency that insures more than 160 million Americans. The doctor is in, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, and congratulations on the gig, and thank you for spending time with us today on America's Newsroom. Good morning. Huge job, by the way. Said 160 million Americans touched by CMS. $1.5 trillion in spending. This is a massive job. In a line or a sentence, what is your mission as you go into this?
My mission is to protect the most vulnerable, because I'll tell you, as a heart surgeon, the most expensive care is bad care. You got to pay the person who's doing a bad job. You got to pay someone else who's capable to fix the problem, and you got to pay for the complications. And there's so many things we can do to improve care in America. And folks watch this program are probably witnessing and pretty good testimonials out there about what has been done in the past that's not worked well. But here's the good news. We can empower beneficiaries, give you tools, and that's coming down the pike at you. We can make sure providers have better opportunities and incentivize them to do the right thing, because oftentimes in CMS, we've unfortunately gotten folks to do things wrong because we pay them for doing things incorrectly. But right now, my main focus, without any question, is to wage a war on fraud, waste, and abuse.
Okay.
Because that's what's required.
Why are y'all saying Dr. Oz look old? He like in his mid-60s. We're going to be approaching 70 soon. What do you want him to look like? Y'all know we all going to get old, right? He looks like a mid-60-year-old white man. I don't really know what he's supposed to look like. What else? What is Dr. Oz supposed to look like, y'all?
All hands on deck. It's a massive issue. You know, hundreds of billions of dollars potentially out there. Not all of it's going to be collected at once, but we've got a war room right now focused very much on things that are going to really bother you. If you thought USAID was a problem, some of the issues that we are discovering, some of the things that CMS has been funding through Medicare and Medicaid and the exchanges will bring a little shiver to you.
Y'all said it's because he let all of I guess he let his gray grow in. Black don't crack. You's a lie. I know some women that look very much every bit of 72 when they 49. You a lie. You's a lie. Listen, everybody ages. Everybody gets old. I seen Ashanti looking up there. She was performing. Somebody had put a clip of her performing. And Ashanti looks good for her age, but, you know, all I seen is women in the chat saying stuff like, listen, we got to give a nod to women that are aging, and that's what their bodies are supposed to look like. Women are defending women getting older. Everybody age. Everybody. I seen Mary J. Blige. She sat down. She said, I can love you. Everybody is getting older. It's a young man's game now. It's a young man's game. I don't even yell as much as I used to anymore. If you catch older clips of me probably 4 or 5 years ago versus what you see today, it's going to be night and day, big dog. I be trying to make sure that I keep my blood pressure down. I ain't stressing out over you. They asked me what I wanted for my birthday this month. I said peace. Peace, love, experiences. I ain't even want no stuff. Peace, love, experiences. A team that is very, very focused and all of this stuff. Ain't nobody tripping off of you. I'm chilling. I could be saying that dumb junk nowadays. Yeah, man. Because you don't want no smoke. You don't want to fight. Facts. I'm 43. I don't want to fight. You right. I seen Adrian Broner getting beat up in a club the other day. If he can catch L's, I'm pretty sure. Because, see, I'm not going to fight you. Days is over. I'm done. I'm retired. 43, I've officially retired. Nope. I'm Unc now. They officially designated me. Hey, look, little homie. What y'all got going on over there? Man, who was that talking? Nobody. You right. You got it. Get in the car. I'm driving away.
Okay, let's get into it because Democrats are going at you in a big way. Demonizing all this stuff. Just play a clip here, okay, and I'll get into specifics after this.
Every American will be more vulnerable to President Trump's agenda that prioritizes the billionaire class over the working class as he cuts Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid.
I can fight these proposed cuts to Medicaid that Donald Trump wants.
An assault on the economy, on Social Security, on Medicaid, an assault on the democratic way of life.
Voting to advance cuts on hundreds of billions of dollars from Medicaid and veterans benefits.
So, I mean, this is a song they're singing, and you're going to have to defend it. Elon Musk said this a couple of months ago. This is where the big money fraud is happening, talking about what's happening in Medicare and Medicaid. Can you say today, are you cutting Medicaid, as Democrats claim, and will continue going up to midterms next year?
President Trump has been very clear with me. He said it publicly. He wants to love and cherish, I'm quoting him, Medicare, Medicaid, these programs. We are focused on saving Medicaid. That's what we've got to do. That's the existential threat, that you spend it into the ground and we don't have the resources to take care of our most vulnerable. I'm sitting right now in the Humphreys building, which is the Health and Human Services.
Somebody said, call your nephews. No, I'm not calling my nephews. I'm calling the police. After my security subdue you, I'm going to call the police. And if you're an illegal migrant, I'm going to call Tom Homan. Calling 911. I'm sorry, we got an emergency over here. We got some YNs over here with dreads. They fit the description. They're the only ones in this area, and they're not supposed to be here. Can you please send 2 units, possibly 3 over here to come in and arrest these guys? Yeah, they're causing a disturbance. They're over here stepping on my grass, too. I don't like it. And they don't look like they're supposed to be here. I'm calling the police. I ain't calling nobody on y'all. Ain't nobody fighting no more.
This building. Bobby Kennedy and I basically live here now. If you walk in the building, there's a quote from Hubert Humphrey. It says it's a moral obligation of government to take care of people who are in the dawn of life, children, people in the twilight of life, mature seniors, and people who are in the shadows, those with disabilities. To do that, you have got to make the system work better. And Democrats should be cheering us on because we're going after problems that have plagued the system that people have not dealt with for the last 4 years. I'll give you a couple examples, Bill, simple ones. $1 billion spent, Medicare money, taxpayer money that should have gone to impoverished children and seniors struggling with the illnesses that you get when you get older. And this $1 billion went because people were registered in multiple states on Medicaid at once. So you're paying a lot of states, even though they're not living in those states anymore. We've got $200 million spent on housekeeping services. Is that part of the charge of Medicaid? $10 million spent on student loans from Medicaid. That could go to saving people who have sickle cell anemia with gene therapy that's remarkably effective in completely reversing a disease. $3 million on DEI, and another $11 million on labor unions' child care benefits. I mean, come on. At a certain point, you look up and you say, you must be kidding. How can someone not have dealt this? Last year,
DOGE
almost a
goes
250,000 people were
So-
registered in the marketplaces who shouldn't have been.
God, so DOGE goes.
That is true. I believe that where they're going to find the most fraud, waste, and abuse is Medicare, Medicaid, and then military. I think that where we're going to find the majority of the fraud, waste, and abuse, bro, you would not believe the amount of doctors, and I ain't even just talking about people finessing the system on one side. Doctors are finessing the system. I believe that everybody is going to be shaking in their boots. I think that doctors, physicians, people that are finessing, insurance companies, I think that everybody. It's a reason why they tried to keep Trump out of office. It ain't because he a bad person. It ain't because he racist. It ain't because he hate black people. It ain't none of that. The reason that I believe that the only reason that people revolt against you, and so what happens is they empower the idiots. So the people that's on the ground, right? The canvassers, the people on TikTok, all of those people, right? If you're on the wrong side, most of the time, even if you are on the right side, a lot of times you have no idea why you picked the side that you picked. It was picked for you. And so there's marketing dollars. When you look at these protesters, a lot of these is paid protesters. There are people that are spending an egregious amount of money to make sure that these legislators put out certain rhetoric and they have to say certain things and they got to vote a certain way and they got to introduce certain bills and they go on these tours and all of this stuff, right? And the reason that is because The reason that you believe that Trump is a racist, number one, is because somebody told you to believe that, because there was propaganda that was put in place to try to prevent him from becoming another president so that he wouldn't come in here and look at with a fine-tooth comb every single line item to see who's the person that's finessing and stealing millions, if not billions of dollars off of Medicaid and Medicare. Who, think about this for a second, who would be against? Why are politicians all saying the same thing and saying we don't want him looking at Medicare and Medicaid? Why would they stand up a system forever to prevent him from being able to look into and see behind the curtains of who's getting paid? Every single system needs checks and balances. This is the only time that I've ever in my entire life seen somebody, let alone a politician, say something like, we need to go in with a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. What? What are you talking about? Why wouldn't we audit the federal government to see where our taxpayer dollars are going? Who would be against that? Why would Congress? Congress's number one job is to control the purse strings and the budget of the United States of America. That is their biggest job, is to figure out what makes sense for the American people as a representative of your respective district, to figure out where we need to make sure that we fund and that we defund things that is going to go into place as far as where your taxpayer dollars are. So if your only main job, not to go on tour, not to be with Bernie Sanders, not to hang out with AOC and Jasmine Crockett, not to get your staff up, not to do anything. If your main job, the number one thing that we elect you for, is to make sure that you control the purse strings of the United States of America, why would you be against finding out what a fraud, waste, and abuse is, unless there are people that are empowering you, that's telling you, tell them to shut that down. This is what you got to do. Slow them down, whatever it is. Or you are a part of a system that is continuing to finesse the American taxpayers. And so when I look in the comments where I see people that say, oh man, what could have been, should have been, we should have had Kamala Harris. What could have been, should have been, we should have had Jasmine Crockett. What could have been, should have been, we should have had AOC. When I look in the comments and I see that, I see people that are basically trolls, that are people that are paid, that are people that are influenced by what is happening inside of our social media landscape. Who, both Republican and Democrat, would be against auditing the federal government to find out where the fraud, waste, and abuse is? Why do we need to spend billions of dollars every single year? Jasmine Crockett said it out of her own mouth that it is important to fundraise. That is their goal. All year long, they take vacations and they fundraise. Why is it important for us to spend millions, if not billions of dollars to get people elected that make $174,000 a year? So you're telling me that in your right mind, that people that are against auditing the federal government and fraud, waste, and abuse from an outside auditor, right, that make $174,000 a year, yet we have to spend tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to be able to defend or whether or not they get elected or not, and they make $174,000 a year, and we spend millions and billions of dollars in these races? Math ain't mathing to me. The math is not mathing to me. It doesn't make sense to me.
What's the expectation for savings from DOGE? Give us a number today based on $1.5 trillion in spending.
$1.5 trillion in spending for Medicaid, and $1.5 trillion. You telling me that it ain't some leaks in there? Shh.
We've already discovered, just since I've been here, and even before, since the inauguration, tens of billions of dollars that is of fraud easily taken back. We just stopped recently a couple $100 million going out the door that would have actually been taken by folks, and who knows where they are taking the money when they get it. These people are not involved in legitimate activities. So the $31 million that I know of last week is a great example of this. We stopped the money by using new technology, by modernizing how Medicare and Medicaid works, from even leaving the building because we knew something was fishy about these bills. And these aren't just small little mistakes. These are organized criminal efforts to hurt our country, some of them launched by foreign countries. So these are issues we want to get into the weeds on, and that's why we have this war room. And before I forget, Bill, this is important. This is all hands on deck. If you have a tip, call us at 1-800-HHS-TIPS or cms.gov/fraud. We need.
Give me 10% of the money. I'll get you all of the tips that you need, big dog. I'll set up a whole website for tips for you. Give me 10% of whatever you save. I'll get you a whole fleet. Bag Chasers is going to be getting to the bag. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. So much. It stinks to high heaven. It's so dirty. It's so dirty. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to move over into the next part of the show. Let's see. Ask the Clintons and Red Cross what happened to the money. Well, ain't nobody going to ask them nothing. They just going to let them keep on rocking. You know how it is. Courtney says, what's good, AD? This might be a Patreon question. What is your thought process when it comes to slow growth when you do controversial topics versus a typical follow the crowd, trending viral content? I just mix it in. I think it's important to tackle the thing that people want to see, but then you give them what they need. That's why I call it putting the medicine in the candy. The candy is going to give you the sugar rush, but the medicine is the thing that you actually need. But if we led with the medicine, if I said, hey, listen, we're going to talk about the centrifugal budget crisis that is happening in Medicaid and Medicare, and I want to go over the deep dive and the details of it, people are like, I actually just yawned myself. I literally, that was a real yawn. It was a fake yawn at first. It turned into a real yawn. But if I say, hey, listen, Trende Aragua is having an underground party, and this is one of the things that the Trump administration, and they arrested everybody for drugs and guns and prostitution and the whores, and they're going to get sent to El Salvador, and this is what the prison looks like. But then I started to break down why it's important for us to spend that money and how it's affecting our budget and why it's actually coming out of y'all community centers and stuff. And I think that that's a lot more entertaining, but it also puts the medicine aside of the candy that interests you and how we need to look at politics and why policy and the people that are implementing these laws inside of the United States of America, let alone your own local government, it's important for us to have that conversation, right? So that's my point. Look, all of y'all yawn. Everybody yawning at the same time. So that's the whole idea. The idea is that in anything you do from a content creation perspective, always put the medicine inside of the candy. Never, ever, ever think that you being technical is the important thing. I think that that's why a lot of people suffer from a content creation perspective. Steven Slayer 1 says, Haiti should have never kicked out the French. Nahum says they have a duty mindset and it's not going to change until they get someone who is not from there. It will never change. Shout out to Nahum. AD, that hurt, but I have to agree, said AR. Quentin says, nah, Ninja, they better. No, white girls are not better. How you feel about the Pistons getting stomped out? I think that the refs missed a very important call. I think the Pistons should be up 3-1 right now because I believe that they won the first game, but then they let the Knicks go on a huge run. I believe that the second game they won definitively. The third game, the Knicks won definitively. The fourth game, the referees obviously missed the call. And the referees actually came back. The NBA came back and they apologized and they said that they missed the call. So I wouldn't say stumped out losing by one, especially when they missed the call. Shout out to Aaron L. I wonder how the Bulls is doing right now. Oh, they got eliminated. They didn't even get into the game. They couldn't even get in. Kim One says, Dr. Oz can't save Medicare, Medicaid. We screwed. Well, we going to see. Slim Jimmy in the building says, Wizard of Oz used to promote all the anti-aging recipes he's not supposed to age. What up to B Shank says, what up to the Millionaire Morning Show? The ENT shop is in the building, says HR 5736, 2012 is how the left can boldly lie. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for rocking out with us. One more thing that I want to tackle before we get out of here, and it is student loans. So there are a lot of people that are frustrated at student loan repayments, and I think that we need to go ahead and bring them to the front of the congregation. Oh, that was sweet. I didn't even mean to do that. Oh, that's sweet as hell. Dope. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it. So these are people that are complaining and having conversations because student loans and the student loan crisis have now become a big issue with people. Check it out.
And the bottom of my casket will have a file cabinet for all these student loans to rest in heavenly peace. That's how much I owe in student loans. How much money I owe in student loans.
You know, the one thing in my rule of thumb a lot of times in this is I don't understand people that take out student loans to this extent. Like when it started getting into the 80 to 90, even the 70s and the six figures, as a person that has done pretty successful myself, I would be absolutely aggravated and appalled if somebody gave me a piece of paper and said, hey, Anton, you're approaching $120,000, $130,000, and we want you to take out more of a student loan so you can take Econ 101, or you can take this, or you can take this class. I would be like, no, dog. I knew I was going to be successful. I knew I was going to make a lot of money, and I was absolutely terrified of taking out any money with regard to a student loan. That's the honest to God truth. 100%. When I reconnected with Rita, she had like $11,000 in student loans, and she was actually going to Wayne State University, and she was still in school. And I said, this is the honest to God truth. I said, we done here. We done here. For all of y'all women that plan on being stay-at-home mothers, what you doing taking out $100,000 in student loans? What you doing taking out $50,000 in student loans? For every woman that intends to stay home with their children once they get married and once they have children, why are you taking out all of these student loans that you're not going to pay back, or that you're going to be on an income-based repayment plan and it's going to accrue interest over and over again, and you'll never actually get the balance down? It's actually going to get higher. When I ran into Rita, she had $11,000 in student loans. When we reconnected after high school, I said, nope, you're done here. This is over. This is over. This is done. I said, if you rolling with me, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. You can go to school, but if you're going to have to figure out how to pay for it. But we not doing no more. We're not taking out no student loans for you to finish school. She was like, okay. She was done with school. That's the honest to God truth. She was done with school. We paid off that little $11,000. Never hear from them again. Ain't never got to worry about it. Department of Education ain't never heard from Rita ever again. I said, don't call them. Don't go on no campus. Don't call them. Don't take out no loan. Don't ever talk to them again. We done. You're done taking out student loans. You got $11,000. That's it for you. No more. I was aggravated at the $11,000. I was appalled. I was disgusted. I was making a lot of money too. I was disgusted. Disgusted. Taking out no god dog student loans. What's wrong with you? It's a fact. That's a whole fact. Paid that junk off, said don't ever call. Don't call them again.
Now let me provide you with some additional information, since I know that this video is going to go viral because people are cruel and a lot of people are going to be ready to attack me in the comments and judge me and do whatever they got to do to feel good about themselves. I am a proud 25-year-old with over $100,000 in student loan debt. I went to school. I got a free associate degree through the early college program. I then furthered my education and got 2 additional degrees. I have a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship with a minor in management, and I have a master's degree in organizational leadership. But one thing America doesn't know about me is that I have 1 additional degree that's not on file and it's not in the records anywhere, and that's a law degree. At any given point, I'm prepared to take the stand and explain why I cannot afford to pay a dime on them student loans. Baby, you ain't never seen a sharp, undegreed attorney like me.
What's up,
ever
Kelly?
in your life. It's my time.
It's amazing to me that we were just a couple weeks ago having conversations about why men are not attending college. Looks like they may have been a little bit smarter because y'all just standing up a system that is not necessarily going to benefit you. You are the most enrolled and the most in debt. I'm telling y'all right now, when you're vetting for somebody to be in a relationship, you know how they vet you to see whether or not you're a high value man and whether or not you make money and you got 6 figures and all of this stuff. Ask her what her student loan balance is. Ask her what her student loan balance is before you get involved with her.
I'm going to keep posting about this all day because this is bullshit. I went and logged into my federal loan account and this is what I found. I graduated in 2011 with $46,000 in student loan debt. My loan debt is now almost $90,000 fucking dollars. In that time, I've been a social worker that has made income-based repayments on my loan for years.
Imagine taking out student loans to become a social worker. And then these people be trying to justify it. You guys need art people and social workers. You need teachers. You need all of these people. Imagine owing $90,000 and being a social worker. Oh my God.
For years, and that shit has almost doubled. You want to know why people are pissed off about their student loans? It's not because we can't get anyone else to pay them for us. It is because you have set it up where we can never pay them off ourselves. And then you sit here and tell us into our faces that we are lazy, this is somehow our fault, while cheering on banks and auto industries and Elon fucking Musk getting subsidies of millions of dollars a day. Anyone who still doesn't see that this is rigged against us can get fucked.
They're so liberal. They're so angry. And after they get done getting their blood pressure up, see, I've learned. As a man that is 43 years old, I have learned there is no reason for me to get my blood pressure up. There is no reason for me to get my blood pressure up. We good, baby. No. You good. You good. You good. Don't worry about it. We good, baby. So you were smart enough to actually finish school, but you wasn't good enough to actually do the math to realize that if you go on and, okay, all right. For all of my people that have children, because whoever you are, wherever you are, we cooked, all right? Whatever we are, most of us, when it comes to our finances on student loans, you are what you are. Unless you have an epiphany and you decide that you want to hustle, you want to get a second job, you want to do DoorDash, you want to do all of this stuff. All right. So if you decide that you don't want to do this and you want to still let the interest accrue, you didn't take the opportunity to pay it down when it put the student loan pause on the interest. They was only going to apply everything that you paid to the principal. Okay, cool. You never did none of that. You never took heed. You never was on top of it. Now they reinstating it. Now your credit is messed up. Now Trump is going to be garnishing you. Now you angry because you got to downsize and move back in with your mother. Cool. I got you. So this advice is for you. If you go on an income-based repayment plan, chances are you are just going to be throwing money in the trash, which means you need to make up a better plan for your children. This is for your children. For everybody that got children that's listening to this, listen to me here. You need to make sure that you are not doing an income-based repayment plan. Why, Anton? Because you are basically burning money. You are just giving them free money. That's it. You're giving them free money. What was this? Got a delivery tomorrow. Don't worry about it. We're going to make sure that we're getting something delivered to the crib. Something big dog. If you are on an income-based repayment plan, that means that none of your money is really even going towards the principal. None of your money is going towards the principal. All of it is going towards the interest. You're just deferring how much you are going to pay back. And that means that the loan balance is going to grow more and more and more and more and more. If anybody tells you that you're going to be on an income-based repayment plan or that you're going to be paying an interest-only payment, and it's easy to finesse people into doing it. Why? Because your payment is going to be lower. That means where you should have been paying $1,200, you're probably only going to pay $253. And you're going to say, oh, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. My balance is current. But you're still going further and further and further and further into debt. I'm telling you, it's bad, fam.
How much do you owe in student loans and how much have you paid? Because I just went and looked at how much I owe versus how much I paid. I graduated a decade ago and I owed $50,000, right? And I said, you know what? I'm just going to be consistent. I'm going to pay my bill. And, you know, eventually that amount will go down. And I have paid $200 something a month since then, right? 200 something a month. It has been 10 years later. I started at 50,000. It's at 47,000, right? I've paid $25,000+.
Which means she's been paying all interest, nothing towards the principal. When y'all log into your mortgage and it says, hey, do you want to contribute anything in addition to the principal? And you say no, that means it's going to take you longer to pay off and it's going to cost you more money.
Since I graduated college, and it's only down 3. It's not making sense. It's not making sense. $200 is already a nice sized bill. What do you want me to do?
$200 on a $50,000 loan. $200 on a $50,000 loan. And you think that that's going to make a dent in your student loans?
Why does it have to be so aggressive? I'm not understanding. I'm trying to pay the money back. I'm giving you what I got. You know what I'm saying? Am I supposed to be paying it for the rest of my life? Yep. Do I have to pay $1,000 a month to see progress?
Yep, pretty much. At $1,000 a month, you'll be done in about 5 years. Yep, and at $1,000 a month, you'll be done in about 5 years. That sounds about right. Think about it. $50,000, 5 years, 60 months, 60 payments. That means you'll be paying about $10,000 in interest if you're doing things the right way, maybe a little bit more. So that's probably about $1,100, $1,200 a month. You can be done with it in about 5 years. That's how it works. That's how interest works. Anyways, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description. I will keep you guys up to date on what's going on in these streets. Here's my general rule of thumb. All right. This is what my general rule of thumb is. If you wouldn't take out $100,000 on a car, then you shouldn't take out $100,000 on school, unless you are becoming a surgeon or you can becoming somebody that's making a significant amount of money. If you're not taking out $100,000 on a car, if you can't afford to, then you should not take out $100,000 on student loans. There's always alternatives. There's always another way to do it. All right. Let me read a couple of more super chats and then I'm gonna get y'all up out of here because we're about at the 2.5 hour mark. Matt Cabal says a decent compromise would be if they want the debt paid, they serve in the military for how many years they went to school and get an honorable discharge. They are too spoiled to accept the compromise though. LL Unkman says salute to Time Dog and shout out to the bag chasers. If you're smart and looking for cheat codes to save, then get your money sign up. Get to the money sign up. Shout out to that. Greg Charlie says, funny they didn't get him to get rid of the DOE, Department of Education, when they garnish your wages is going to say DOE right next to it. Maybe they'll want it gone now. Yeah, that's true. Shout out to Greg Charlie. Shout out to everybody that supported the platform. Tomorrow we got a 100-day show. That means that Trump will have been in office for 100 days. It's going to be an awesome show. Also, if you guys want to come and kick it with me this Sunday, I will be doing a live recording at Salt KO in Southfield, Michigan. Salt plus KO in Southfield, Michigan at 7 p.m. Eastern. For those of you that are bag chasers, make sure you go into the Patreon and let me know, comment in the Patreon on that thing that I just dropped so I can get a better understanding of how many people are going to be at the next meetup that is going to happen. And all of the details are inside of that video. And we're going to be continuing to update that so I can give you guys the most recent information. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all on the Q show tonight. Shout out to everybody that support the platform. I love y'all. Peace.